Greetings, Mayor Pro Tem, Committee, and Council members. Joseph Marsenko, Assistant Public Works Director, here to present information on the Water Cost of Service Report. This is for the Public Works and Transportation Committee meeting, November 22nd, and the City Council meeting on December 20th. The recommendation is that the Public Works and Transportation Committee recommend that the City Council receive and file the Water Cost of Service Report. And the recommendation for the Council meeting is the City Council receive and file the Water Cost of Service Report. Background. Oxnard's water system includes 10 groundwater wells, 5 interconnections to United Water Conservation District, 1 interconnection to Cayugas Municipal Water District, 1 desalter facility, 6 blending stations, over 500 miles of distribution pipeline, 43,000 meters, and an advanced water purification facility. Oxnard's potable water sources consist of 3 areas: Cayugas Municipal Water. This is surface water that we purchase from them, treated surface water, and it is about 30% to 40% of our annual water supply. The second part of that is that the city pumps groundwater, and that constitutes about 20 to 30% of the water supply. And the last part of that is United Water Conservation District, local purchased groundwater, and that constitutes 30 to 40% of our water supply. Background. Public Works and Transportation Committee in 2021 requested the Public Works Department to provide reports regarding the following water-related topics: Water Division Virtual Tour, Water Sources and Drought Updates, Cost of Water, Urban Water Management Plan, and Recycled Water. This report provides cost of service information, which is a component of Oxnard's future long-term plans for water. Discussion. The water operating budget is funded from ratepayer fees. The water revenues cover operations, maintenance, repairs, debt service, capital improvements, and cash reserves. The budget forecast for 2022-2023 fiscal year, that's what this chart consists of. And generally speaking, our revenues are $68 million for this fiscal year. Our expenditures are $68 million. Our net deficit is $118,550. We have $6.5 million in bonds, capital improvement projects of approximately $17 million, a beginning balance of $23.5 million approximately, and an ending fund balance of almost $13 million. So water acquisition costs out of the budget are one of the largest expenditures. So for the fiscal year 2022 to 2023, the estimate is approximately 41% of the budget goes to water acquisition costs. So the following table shows the different fiscal years and the different costs, the water supply acquisition costs for each of the groundwater and surface water sources. And then at the end, it shows the share of total expenditures. So the fiscal years go from 2019 all the way through 2025. And roughly the share of that expenditure from the budget ranges from about 40 to 52% of that budget. So at 50% being half of the budget alone is just in water acquisition costs. Electricity costs are another big expense that we have. The table up here provides the historical costs on that. And they're going up in anticipation to be going up even more every year. So also our labor costs. We have to have specialized labor to meet state required certification requirements. And those costs are also significant to the budget. And so we look at the fiscal years 2019 all the way up through 2022, and you can see that it goes from roughly 14% of our costs up to 20% of our costs. And no part of that jump was that we included the advanced water purification facility full-time equivalents in that, which raised the numbers for fiscal year 21-22. So capital improvement projects are an important part of maintaining your water system. This is a list of some of the key components to that, the key projects, and what the approximate costs are on those. So number one is the automated metering infrastructure, which is AMI. That's changing out all the meters to smart meters, and that project costs approximately $30 million. We have a lot of old cast iron pipe that needs replaced. Those projects estimated at $16 million in costs. We have a new pipeline that's a large diameter that is in need of replacement. It's a $60 million project. New well projects constitute about $11 million of funds. Desalter facilities, improvements, another $11 million estimated. SCADA, which is how we have our automation for our equipment, that's $2.5 million. Blending station improvements are another $1.2 million estimated. So current water bill for 1,200 cubic feet of water constitute an average for a single family of a bill which would be $65.63, and for a multifamily property we would have $69.79. This is just an example of what a typical water bill would be, and 1,200 cubic feet equates to 8,977 gallons of water. We have the groundwater agency fees, and those are constantly going up. So for us, for our groundwater, 1 acre foot of groundwater that we pump here for the city costs about $1,268 to produce. This includes operational expenditures to make it potable, and those fees are going up for the different agencies that use groundwater, we take groundwater from. You can see for Fox Canyon, the fees are going up 104% from the fiscal years 2017 through 2022, and for United, about 42% over those same fiscal year time periods. United Water Conservation District historical costs. So for 1 acre foot at the present time for United Water is $881. That also includes operational expenditures to make it potable. It's a breakdown of variable rates and fixed rates, and those rates are going up for the fiscal years 2017 through 2022. Variable rates have gone up 5.8%. and the fixed rates have gone up 35.9%. Cayugas Municipal Water District historic costs have gone up. 1 acre foot of surface water from Cayugas Municipal Water District is $1,667. And it also has variable rates and fixed rates that have gone up from 2017 through 2022 fiscal years, and constitute 12.7% and 10.2% increases for the variable and fixed rate costs. So water supply and demand future projections. We have this table describes what the projected water use is from the years up 2025 through 2045, breakdown of the user types, And you can see in all of these cases that the water usage is expected to increase over these years. Population's expected to increase over these years, and so proportionally you'll get an increase in water usage. This just shows the estimated amounts that go up. There are a lot of numbers in this, and it's better presented kind of graphically in the next slide. So this is the same water supply and demand proportional projections, along with a breakdown of the different water sources that we have. And you can see that the city's groundwater availability is anticipated to go down. United Water's groundwater is anticipated to go down. So we have to be able to make up that water from somewhere. So, we anticipate that we have availability with Cayugas's supply, but we also need to supplement that with recycled water, aquifer storage and recovery through our recycled water program, as well as stored water from that program that we would get credit for and be able to use more groundwater from that new water source. And so also in here, it shows the previous years where we have known data, and then the projected years where we're going to need more data or more water, and the data that supports the proportions of water that we believe it's going to take to get there. So this is a graph showing the historical groundwater levels from 2012 through 2022. And you can see that the groundwater levels are very low out here. And so that's something that's a big concern. We definitely need to have recharge here. And if they stay at these levels, then that's going to decrease the amount of groundwater that we're going to be able to pump from the basin, and really have to conserve more water in the future. Correspondingly, the State Water Project, as you know, is down, and that's the big driver for our drought that's mandating a lot of the conservation measures we have to implement. These are a list of the different reservoirs on the State Water Project system. You can see the majority of them are low, and that indicates that the amount of stored water is very limited unless we get those reservoirs. We get more rainwater and those reservoir levels go up, we're going to be definitely conserving more water into the future. We should know more on this by the end of the year and beginning of next year based on what Metropolitan's forecasts are. So we conducted a SWOT analysis, strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats, to look at some of the major factors that we should consider in looking towards the future. So some of the strengths that we have here is that we do have multiple water sources. We do have the GREAT program looking at recycled water. We have a robust CIP. We have a capital improvements plan that looks at maintaining our old infrastructure and a plan to do that. We have an urban water management plan that projects water usage out into the future, as well as a water shortage contingency plan that gives us a roadmap to follow for when we're in times like this of drought.
Some of the weaknesses are new regulatory requirements, regulatory timelines, future staffing levels, and the fact that water rates have not been reviewed since 2017. Some of the opportunities that we have are aquifer storage and recovery program that we're working on, develop the indirect potable reuse that we're using from the GREAT program in conjunction with the aquifer storage and recovery. Conjunctive use, using surface water in abundance and when it's abundant in those years, and then running a cost of service study. We're currently engaged in a cost of service study, and what that will lead into is what it takes for our current and our future costs, and then designing fair and equitable rates that are going to meet those financial needs. Then the last part of this are threats. Everybody's knows about the climate change. We have drier droughts and we have wet periods as a function of infrastructure. We have very old infrastructure, and we have a CIP, capital improvements program, to replace a lot of the aging infrastructure, mostly cast iron pipelines. Another threat is the global supply chain issues. As a function of COVID, there are very long lead times, well over a year on some larger parts like pumps and motors. And then last is rising equipment and supply costs. So another byproduct of COVID is that costs are constantly going up. Our chemical costs are one of them that I've seen double and go even higher. So we have to be able to meet those new challenges and those threats and raise our costs accordingly. Thank you.
So in conclusion, there are many outside factors that continue to increase the cost to provide water. Regardless, Oxnard Water Division is always committed to delivering safe and reliable water 24 hours a day and 365 days a year, implementing a 5-year capital improvement project to make sure that our program, to make sure that we have reliable infrastructure, utilizing recycled water as an additional water source, ensuring our water budget is properly funded and utilized, prepared to handle climate change challenges, securing a reliable and well-maintained water system, and to basically all of that to maintain public health and safety for future generations. There's no direct financial impact to receiving this report, and that concludes my presentation. I'll be available to answer any questions at the corresponding Public Works and Transportation Committee and City Council meetings where this will be presented. Thank you very much and have a good day.